I got a feeling that you got me covered too. I got you covered. I got you covered.
Hi, everybody. How is everybody doing today? It is snowing outside. I guess it was a request that Mr.Blessed2Crochet had for his birthday, right? It's snowing out in our thing. You think we've gotten enough snow, but apparently not enough. So anyway, but it is snowing. Trying to get situated. You know, the camera, we have the stuff in the mailbox. We're just not. The car is all wrapped up, right? I'm trying to. And I got my snowman shirt on, guys. I have to, right? It's snowing. I have to. I'm trying to situate. Hi, Sandy Wendy. How are you? I've sent the invite over to Mr.Blessed2Crochet. Oh, he's going to actually, maybe he'll come on. He's going to surprise us, right? But anyway, we figured out we would wish him happy birthday. I tried to put the notice out to everybody. So we'll put up the birthday boy. Hold on a second. Look, there's the birthday boy. And he's in the other room. Happy birthday.
If you could do me a favor and grab me my headphones. They're on my nightstand.
You'll have to. Aquarius wishes you a happy birthday. Alfonso wishes you a happy birthday. You'll have to give me a minute. Fonzo wishes you a happy birthday. Have a blessed day. He just got off from work. I hope it's not snowing where you are, Alfonso. Hold on a second. I'm going to let Mr.Blessed2Crochet take care of you for a minute while I get his headphones.
Well, I wish I had a little bit more going on here. But yeah. How's everybody doing? Hey, now I got comments on here. But now I can't see nobody. So I don't know what's going on. It'd be nice if I had a t-shirt.
You don't want much for your birthday.
No, not at all. We're having technical difficulties. Well, wardrobe malfunction. Let's go that route. My wardrobe is not up to par for TV, video, anything.
All right. I'm back in action. At least kind of getting there. I'm going to remove him for just a second. So how's everybody doing today? It is snowing out there today. And I realized I did record the devotion, but I haven't gotten it up yet. I got distracted with other things, so I will get the devotion up in a little bit. I'll have to edit out the part that says, join us at 5:30. Because I didn't get it up in time. While we're waiting on Mr.Blessed2Crochet, I will go in. Usually we gift the memberships that YouTube allows us to do on the 4th and it's snowing here, but 2 not as cold, but still cold. Yeah. We usually do it on the 4th and the 5th, or the 4th and 2nd week of every month. But we're going to do it tonight because it's Josh's birthday. So we can give him a little bit of, we'll gift out some, right? We're allowed to do that. So now that I've got this other computer, I don't have to have my other computer up and running. It's so wonderful. So let's see while we wait for him who the gifted memberships will be given out to. Anne and Dale, yes, Michelle Crochets, Arius, Kate, and Consuming the Goodness got the membership. So again, we usually do that on the 2nd and 4th week of every month, and I know that there's another little bit of time left, but we figured out we'll roll them out tonight because it was Josh's birthday, and at least we can have the gift put on, given out. So anyway, I hope everybody's staying warm. Yes, they allow us to do 10 memberships a month free, to give out to our subscribers. So we're glad to do that. But now with this computer, man, it's just a breeze. I can just do. I don't have to pull out the Chromebook and do it. Let's see here. It's 23 Fahrenheit, but it feels like -5 degrees. It doesn't tell you how cold it is here in the Mansfield area. It's cold. And Josh's request is to have sausage biscuits and gravy. So he's all set now. Y'all set now?
No, not yet.
His request is to have sausage biscuits and gravy. So I'll be making that shortly. We made brownies because that was his other request. He wanted brownies. The power cord is in the mailbox for this computer, so we can switch them up. Hopefully tomorrow. Unfortunately, it is snowing, and we just don't feel like undoing the car. But they're just staying right in there. So I have to still look over here till tomorrow, and then we can situate this so I can look over here, which is exactly what it is, and get the smaller monitor. So I will be recording or putting together. My mom's going to help me. We're going to be recording 6. Not 6. We're going to record it. We're going to be putting together the biscuits and gravy. We'll do a recording of that, so you guys have that. And we're going to be also doing the recipe for the 7-Up biscuits. They are so flaky, and we don't buy the canned biscuits now that we have that. And it's really an easy mixture to make, and they are so good. They're like the best. So when I make the biscuits and gravy, we have biscuits, but they're really simple and easy to make. So we'll be putting those two together. So you'll have the biscuits and gravy recipe along with the 7-Up recipe, which is deadly. And Diane says happy birthday, and 99 Midnight Gamer says happy birthday. Thank you all for coming in. I think the birthday boy is ready. He'll give me a thumbs up when he's... He'll give me a thumbs up when he's ready for me to put him on screen. Okay. I guess the earphones aren't working.
No, they're not.
They were hoping he was.
3
he gave
pairs,
it a whirl.
not working.
So how do you like my 7-Up biscuits when I make them?
No.
He's told his mother that my biscuits and gravy are better than his. I learned it from his mom.
And hers, not his.
Well, biscuits and gravy are better. So when we do our sausage biscuits and gravy, there is no there's make sure that there's plenty of sausage. And I think we have some bacon in the refrigerator, so may get a little treat.
Bacon?
But did you not see the bacon? I think most
No, I did not see the bacon. I'm sorry.
Bacon.
Oh boy, I'm in trouble.
You're making people hungry.
I'm sorry. I'm hungry.
So I don't know if people know our story about exactly how we met. And I thought maybe that would be interesting. This is going to end at around 7 o'clock, and it will redirect you over because my other's keeper will be on at 7. And then I'm going to be focusing on just enjoying Josh's birthday. So I'll be sending you guys over there for more connection because that's what we're all about. But Josh remembers the time we met.
Give me a second. I'm coming.
It's 3 p.m.
Sorry, my phone is kind of old, so it doesn't let me do everything at once.
It's delayed. But he knows the time. He can tell it, sit there and remember the time.
11:59 p.m. on Valentine's Day in the old school AOL chat rooms.
When you had to dial in. People, there was a time, young people, when you had to dial in to the internet.
Yep.
When you heard the
You would hear. You either get the because the line was busy,
yep.
or you get the screeching sound that comes across.
And you were actually on a friend's computer.
Yep.
And he didn't have a computer of his own, so he happened to be on a friend's computer.
I was the faux kind.
And I know that I came, and it just happened to be we picked the same chat room. And we just started talking.
Started talking
For hours.
Yeah.
The phone bills we racked up.
I didn't go to sleep until like 2 days later.
I get it, Lord Kiss Freak.
Yeah, I don't like doing dial-up, period. I don't like doing party lines either. That just makes it a whole nother nightmare.
Doris Day did the Party Line movie. I can't remember which one it was. It was what was it? I think it was Pajama Game or something. No, it wasn't. She did one where she had a party line and she did a movie about it. With I think it was Rock Hudson that was in that movie.
Yeah. It was Rock Hudson, Doris Day. Her roommate worked at the Vendomatic cafeteria downstairs across the street. She was trying to get a job doing something somewhere, and his driver ran through a puddle and splashed her, and then it was like a whole nother rigmarole that started after that.
That was Mink. That was Touch of Mink. The other one was when she redid his apartment. No.
I remember now. Sorry, my stories mixed up here. The party line was the guy from the other guy from the original Odd Couple.
Yes. But Alfonso says he remembers getting a $600 phone bill 25 years ago. It was long distance in our phone bill because there wasn't local number available for dial-up. Yeah, I think we beat that, honey. I think we had about. I remember it was
my grandmother's phone bill
was through the roof.
Was $1,800 the first month, and then the other person that started talking to her from my phone added another $1,800 to it.
It was ridiculous. I think the phone company did something or whatever. But we tried the dating from afar, which didn't work. So we just became friends. And then but we realized that we had no, Thrill of It All was with the soap. That was with the soap. I remember that one. But the we just had we had so much in common. We could talk about anything. And then we both got married to different people, which was a big mistake. We should have just gotten married to each other. It would have been a heck of a lot easier.
But come to find out, I wouldn't have a beautiful daughter. So
Yes. That was the one good thing out of it. And now in 2025, I can call Canadian, US, and Mexico for free. Yep. And see, the thing is, and when Jared and Christina were dating, they met through eHarmony. So they had the video Facebook Messenger. And I remember thinking, oh, thank God we don't have phone bills out of wazoo. But, we just were like, there was something between the two of us. Always. And he'll tell you that I was his first love. He'll say that girl was my first love.
My
At least I think.
Love. You are my only love.
Aww. But I remember when we got married, we had both been through divorce. And we both said to each other, we're not going there. Marriage is not easy. I love this man, but they're pillow talk. That's what it was. I love this man, but there's times where he frustrates me, and I'm sure I frustrate him. But we had decided that we were going to stay married. We said there's 3 boundaries. You go over these 3 boundaries, and then we're going to talk about the D word will come up. And that was you cheat, drugs or alcohol are involved, and then we're going to talk. And thankfully, I can't believe this year is going to be 18 years. 18 years worth of marriage that we actually they're still together. But we've known each other since 97.
Each other.
What? Don't say that word.
6.
We clobbered each other. That is a better word.
29.
Hi, Juan. How are you?
Oh.
We've known each other since 97. That's when we first met.
I can't do my my subtraction here.
28 years.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
28 years.
My brain took a. I couldn't remember. It just completely went blank.
I had to get an instant breakfast in me before I came on, because I hadn't really had anything to eat and I was hungry. Hi, Maria. How are you? But you've been busy lately? Well, at least you stopped on in so we could have a little bit of a birthday celebration. But it hasn't been easy. There's been times where I can tell you that it's kind of like you sit there going, you have to work at it. You can't think I'm going to get married and just not work at it. It's a work in progress.
I'm going to stop you right there.
Okay.
Whoever came up with the idea that there's a 5-year honeymoon phase is completely off their rocker. I'm sorry. Not happening. There was not a 5-year honeymoon phase with this marriage. Not even the first one. And whoever thinks you can just lull your way through it, whole nother subject. Every day, day in, day out, night in, night out, it's a job to keep yourself on the straight and narrow, to make sure your significant other is on the straight and narrow, and to make sure you dotted all your I's and crossed all your T's, or crossed all your I's and dotted all your T's. I know it's confusing, but marriages are, and you have to 198,000% work at it.
Yep. And you wouldn't believe him. He was quiet when I met him. I haven't been a good influence in that part. He was quiet.
I can still be quiet if I want.
But, I remember I was sick. I remember being sick, and we were down in Florida, and we were still dating. And you took me to the hospital because I was just miserable. And I looked at you. I hadn't, I looked terrible. And I looked over at him and I said, I'm sure I look awful. And he just looked at me and said, you look beautiful all the time. I was like, okay, I'm done. You said the right thing. And he'll still do that to me. I'll sit there and say, oh, I look a mess, or I'm in pain, or whatever it is. And he'll go, no, you still look beautiful. Don't say that about yourself. And I know we both, for those that don't know, we both have been diagnosed with fibromyalgia. So even in our own thing, we both have very different things that we're dealing with and having fibromyalgia. And for those that don't know, and Josh has talked about it on My Other's Keeper, he was diagnosed with what is called Klinefelter syndrome, which means he has an extra chromosome. So in the devotion, when I get off here and get to edit it and put it together, I pray in my prayer during that devotion, I said, thank you for the miracle of Josh. And it is a very rare condition that a lot of babies that are carried through pregnancy don't make it. And he wasn't given proper prenatal care by his mom. God, we love her, but it was the truth.
Well, at the time, they didn't really know what it was.
Yeah.
Either.
No.
So,
thank you, Juan.
It's a touch and go situation, anyways.
Yep.
And still to this day, I can't find a doctor for it.
Yep. They don't know how to handle it, and that's been, I can say, a challenge over the past year, because people will, and I guys, I'm going to say this, and he's going to get floppy raised to him, because I am so proud of him. I am so proud of him, because I know how hard this is for him, because he has the world looking at him, and their first inclination is to look and say, oh, well, you just need to cut the calories and cut the sweets and all this kind of stuff. A lot of what he's dealing with is because of his insulin resistance. So he's on a very high level of insulin. He's on a concentrated version, which is a weight gainer. He's dealing with the Klinefelters, which comes with a whole slew of other things. They're doing more tests. He has the fibromyalgia. He has had the knee issue now for going on 4 months. And hopefully they're going to get him into an MRI and have a look at it. But they have to go through all these steps in order to get there, which is just ridiculous. I don't know if the fibromyalgia is an accurate diagnosis on his side. I really, it could be, but I'm not sure if it's accurate. And then you go to a doctor and they go, oh, well, he's been diagnosed with Klinefelters. We don't know anything about it. His previous doctor said, well, if you have it, it's the first one I've seen out of the textbook in 30 years.
Yeah, my last primary care said he's never seen it except for textbook. My endocrinologist says he's seen it 2 other times. It's not something that you know what to do. I mean, the fall season is right. What was that?
Oh, it's just me. I was just going on my phone for a second.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Crafty.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, we
Thank
didn't
you
do
all
this, did
very
we?
much.
We got to raise the cupcake, right? Happy birthday.
But they don't need no tuppy.
You
I'm
like-
having brownie.
and guys, we don't keep soda and sweets and all that kind of stuff in the house on a daily basis because I struggle with it.
Yes, we have a bag of chips here. No, we don't keep chips on the ready.
No.
This was my birthday. This is what I wanted for dinner last night.
Yep.
Bag of chips and chicken salad sandwich.
No.
Tonight I'm having sausage gravy and biscuits.
You know,
Gonna be
Christine,
some bacon in it too.
Christina left the most beautiful message to her dad today. Made me really tear up, but I thought there's a whole story in Josh's story. I know he said he would go on Mother's Keeper and talk about it, which I think would be really good. But I would love if he would want to sit there and talk about kind of the things that he struggled with and the things that he dealt with. But this is a picture. I know it was a very emotional day. That will always be his baby girl. I don't know if you guys can
She's
see it.
my baby.
That's him hugging his daughter on her wedding day.
And I'll
But
tell
she,
you right now, anybody hurts my baby is gonna be a whole nother school message.
but she left a message on her Facebook and it said, "Happy birthday, Dad. I love you so much. Thank you for making me your own daughter from day one." And that was one thing that he has done is that's my daughter. No matter what, he has treated her as his own from day one because he didn't have the greatest stepdad. And he learned from that. Josh has been through a lot in his life, but I will say this. One thing that has always meant the world to me is that his heart has never been hardened by all the stuff he went through. You know, there's a lot of people that they go through stuff and their hearts just get hardened from it. And he has a very big heart. And I attest that to a lot of wonderful, strong women in his family who just surrounded him.
Same women, mind you, that said, "You do anything to hurt her, we're coming for you."
Yep.
And
I
her
was
being Mary. If I hurt her, I'm going to be the one in trouble. My family's going to come after me if I hurt her.
yeah. And he wouldn't. He would never.
No.
Because he'll sit there and say, I'm here because of you. And I remember there's been times where he's looked at me and he said, "Why do you still want to be married to me?" And I'm like, "Well, I walked down the aisle, I made that promise, and I'm not going anywhere." You know, sometimes when whether it's your spouse or your partner or whether it's a friend, when somebody's down, we need to do everything we can to build them up, not tear them down. If they're feeling like them old tapes are running through their heads, it's our job to kind of come in, if they'll allow us, and break them up. Because they can really cause a lot of unnecessary havoc going on
Those
in our
old
heads.
tapes are called Debbie Downer.
I love that.
I don't need Debbie Downer. I don't need Debbie Does Dallas either, but you know, for some reason that just kept popping into my head and it just rolled out my mouth. But I don't need none of that. That's all Debbie Downer stuff.
And Crafty,
believe it or not, I can be the absolute most depressed person in the world at that time, and I will see a tear pop out of my wife's eye, and I will make her laugh.
well,
There's just, I can be the saddest person in the world at the time, and I hate seeing other people sad. I hate seeing other people hurting.
and
I'm one of those people that sees a guy out on the street and he's talking down to his wife, and I just look at him.
He can't handle it.
And there's times I just want to walk over and smack him. But like, I'll just like clear my throat really obnoxiously loud and stare. And they stop.
Well, you were shown even in, I think you were shown not necessarily by Jerry, but you were shown by aunts and uncles in your family how to be respectful to a woman. You know, you were shown that in different aspects of that. Because Jerry obviously didn't show it to you, and you also felt as if just because that's what Jerry did, you weren't going to repeat the same problems.
It wasn't so much that he showed me how to treat women or not treat women. I was raised by my grandmother and my mother. I saw how my mom's ex-husband before Jerry treated her, and I knew that's not what I wanted to do. But Jerry showed me what not to do with a child that is not biologically yours.
Jerry was his stepdad. He's no longer with us.
The moniker of step is so hurtful. Don't get me wrong. There's some great step parents out there, and they have a great relationship with stepchild, stepchildren, whatever. But in my family, my cousin was introducing his stepchildren as his stepchildren. I was like, dude, that's like a curse word in this family. You saw all the stuff that I went through as a stepchild, and you still pronounce your kids as your stepchildren? It's like, nah, man, they're your kids. They might not be 100% yours. They might not be yours at all. But they're your kids.
Yep.
Adopted or not, they're yours, period.
And Crafty, I truly believe with the fact that out of all the chat rooms that could have been on AOL that we found each other was definitely by God. The God's hand was in there, because you just think how many friends first chat rooms were on AOL, and we happened to find each other. I can't even remember.
See here, there was in the romance column alone, there was like 100 and some odd different rooms.
Yep.
Like main rooms, and then in those main rooms there were sub rooms, and we were like third or fourth level in on a sub room, and
Yeah.
I was like, okay, she's cute. I mean,
Well, we didn't have pictures back then. We just mail each other the pictures.
no, you had a you
Oh.
had your description up. Your description sounded cute.
Oh, okay. The description, but not pictures.
I had to figure out the picture in my head, which was better than seeing some of these pictures you see on Facebook these days.
Yeah. Well, I remember the first time that I met Josh was when I was with my ex-husband, and we drove to Ohio to meet him. And I just remember looking at him, and I thought, I was like, at that point, he was more like a brother, but he kind of wasn't. We were just really good friends. And I remember him sitting there saying to me later on, he said, man, he said, I looked at you and he said, did I screw up? He said, I screwed up. He said, I said to your ex-husband, he said, you lost such a great girl. But he was the first person that when I thought I was pregnant, I told. And he said, you've got to call me because he said, if you need me, he said, I'm here. And he was helpful before Christina was even came along. And he later said to me, he said, why didn't you tell me that you were getting abused? And I said, because I didn't see it as that. Excuse me. When women are talking about being in an abusive relationship, they don't see it. But I know that if he had known that, he'd have been in his car on his way from Ohio to Indiana, because that was going to be unacceptable in his book.
The one time that we came to your house,
Like, why didn't you tell
if
me?
you would have told me, my 2 passengers would have stayed behind and I would have left them with you in the car. Homie, don't play that. Abuse, period. No.
And in 2005, he emailed me and he sent a message. He was just trying to check in and see how I was doing. I think we had lost phone numbers at that point with each other. And at the very end of the
At that
thing,
time, I probably had 40 different phone numbers from the last time we had talked.
and he ended the email with a rose, and I thought, okay. And then we called each other, and I said, and he was dancing around the subject for a while, and I said, okay, Josh, what's going on? And he said, will you go out with me? And I said, well, you're in Ohio. I'm in Florida at this point. And I said, well, maybe if you come down here, we'll see what happens. But I knew with that rose when he sent that email, I'm like, there's something. And so he got on a plane a couple days before Christmas in a blizzard and came down to Florida with the suitcase on his back. That was it.
No, that suitcase was nowhere near my back. I tried lifting that suitcase. It weighed a ton. I'm glad it went to the belly of the plane.
You had to go in the Miami airport, but you left in the middle of a blizzard. Your uncle drove you to the airport.
I will never go back through the Miami airport ever. That place is very weird.
And, coming down to Florida, being around my dad and my mom and our family was life changing for Josh. Because in his book, he had looked at his life at that point and thought, nobody cares about me. I'm not worth being here. And he had plans, excuse me, guys. He had plans to really not stay very long if he didn't think this was going to work. Because to him, he felt like a big mess up.
Before I left, I was giving away what earthly possessions I had left. The one earthly possession I wanted to bring with me was my blanket, and I couldn't even get that down there, so that kind of aggravated me, but that's what happens. But anyways, I gave away what earthly possessions I had at the time, except for clothing and a pillow. Came to Florida. I was not looking. I was looking for a relationship, but at that time that I left, I was in such a I was in a dark place, a very dark place.
And we were the light for you.
And the flack I was getting from my in-laws, well, what were now my in-laws at the time, were my possible girlfriend's parents. And then the flack I was getting from her grandma her grandmother and uncle, it wasn't worth it. As much as I'm glad that it changed,
I'm sure glad it did.
I'm ecstatic it did. I was planning to walk to Cuba. No, you heard that right. I wanted to walk to Cuba from Florida. I figured the only connection I had in Florida was Mary. I didn't really know Christina at the time. Chuck and Kathy were there, but they didn't seem like they were interested in me.
That changed.
I just wanted to go to Key West and take a walk. That's how far I had thought I had lost everything. And then things changed. There was a crack of light in that dark room. Which slowly became a window. And I couldn't close it no more. There was no way to close that window anymore. It was open. The whole world could see everything. I joined a good church. Well, I didn't join right away. I had to go through a special class to join. It took me 2 years to get through the class. It usually takes like a year or 6
Well,
months.
you were working on Sundays during that time too, so that also
Yeah,
delayed it.
there was a lot of stuff going on at the time that I was trying to join. So it took me a little bit longer.
But if you ask him now who his dad was, tell you exactly the response going to come out of his mouth.
My father-in-law, he showed me the way.
He came to really love Josh, and my mother loves Josh. And I think for my mother, it took her a little bit longer, but she loved him. But I remember a really big turn, and that was probably a year after we were married. And I had to go through major surgery. I had 30, which I know was scared Josh to death. I had 33 staples down my stomach. I had an ovarian cyst that was about 17 millimeters or something like that. It was huge.
Hang on a minute. It was like 17 centimeters. But if you all look through the medical pictures and books and stuff for the metal stainless steel
It was huge.
kidney bean shaped surgical bowl they
It was
use,
huge.
it was overflowing that bowl.
Thank God it didn't burst. That I can say that. But
If it would have burst, I would have had probably nothing left at that time.
yeah. And I remember that when I had to get up for the first time out of bed after 24 hours, I was just screaming because the pain was so bad. And my mother ordered Josh to go home. He stayed with me the entire 5 days in the hospital. But she said, "You've got to go home. It's now been
grandmother
24
was down.
His grandmother was down, and she said, "You've got to go home and rest and have a shower and so forth. I'll stay with Mary." He didn't want to leave. And she just wrapped her arms around Josh and she said, "Thank you so much for taking care of Mary." And she had tears running down her eyes. And I think for my mom, that was her turning point when she saw you just being there, taking care of me the way you did. Because it was scary to go into surgery. And I remember waking up from that surgery and I said to my mother, I said, "Did you call everybody and know that I was okay?" And she said, "Mary, you didn't think of yourself first. You thought of everybody else first." And I'm like, "Yeah, tends to be what I do anyway." But, you know, guys, you just have to remember that I think one of the biggest lessons that Josh and I have learned over this past little bit is, and I think he probably could say the same thing, one more encouraging to remember, if you have stuff you've got to work through, you know what I mean? Don't stop. Don't find a counselor that you connect with and go find them and do it. Because
Find a counselor,
therapist,
do not go to a
yep.
psychiatrist because they don't want to hear your problems. They want to give you drugs.
Hi, Brazy. Welcome in. But I just know that he said, "I wish I had gone to a counselor and gotten this stuff off my back and not been carrying it all these years." So if you've got stuff that you haven't worked through yet, don't wait. There's no shame in going to talk to somebody and getting it out. Whatever you've been through in your life, as difficult and as hard as it is, get through it with somebody. And worst, I don't think we've even touched the service
Even
about
if it's just your pastor, that's part of his job. He'll listen to you if you keep the time with him. He will listen to you.
and having friends to talk with. I can tell you, I did not know his plans. He did not tell me his plans until we were married. And he said, I said, "I just want you to know I had every intention of not being around for very long." And he said, "You changed. You were the light. You got me to see what I was worth." And a lot of people in Josh's life, didn't realize how intelligent he was. Extremely intelligent man. And I always knew that. Smart cookie. And I'll never forget my dad's face when you were rattling off those equations, and his face is just going. That was a change for my dad with the algebra.
Oh, let's not start yet. You know what? You've
I
already
can't
opened
do
the door.
algebra, but he can.
I'm gonna have to explain this. Okay, so I've been going to school at a now defunct technical school. The area it went defunct, but I think there's still a couple of schools here and there. I'd been going to school for 8 hours a day, turning around and going to work for another 8 hours a day. So I'm like exhausted already. And then I have the bright idea that I'm going to teach my, at the time, fiance, now wife, how to do algebra.
Never
It's
understood it.
easy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
It's not.
No,
It's not, son.
I could not explain it to her for nothing. And it wasn't like
No.
I was saying stuff in English and she was hearing it as Chinese. No, it was far worse than that. It was I was saying stuff through a mile and a half thick concrete wall, and all she was getting was a tap here and there.
Mm-hmm.
So working, going to school myself, and doing the things I need to do to better myself. And I'm one of those people that as soon as my head lays down, I could probably fall asleep anywhere. Doesn't matter where I'm at, I could fall asleep. If I relax just right, I'll pass out. So I'm sitting there laying down, and she's going through, she's asking the questions, and
Yeah.
I'm answering her, and then she'll ask the question, and I'll mumble something, and she's not quite understanding me. She turns around and looks at me, Josh, wake up, wake up. And I'm full on passed out asleep. She's asking me what the question is. I can tabulate my answer with my head bobbing around and tell her what the answer is. And my father-in-law was sitting at the table behind us in the dining room, punching away on his electric calculator thing with the reel tape going
Sweet.
as it's
Yeah.
running through. And I mean,
Right.
he's punching it really hard. It should be keeping me awake, but I'm one of those people, you can put me next to the
Lulling
road
you to
patch, you
sleep.
ain't gonna hear me, or you ain't gonna hear it. So, and things progress, and he's hearing me snoring and then giving her an answer. So he's sitting there looking, and the typing on the calculator stops, and I'm not realizing it because I'm snoring away and giving answers out. And she gives me the question, I give her the answer, and he's just sitting there looking at me like, how is he doing this? No calculator, no paper, snoring through the questions, and she's passing. How is this possible? And he comes back and says, the way you talk, you would think you are a very unintelligible person. I mean, you sound like an ignorant redneck hillbilly that never got past fourth grade. Like, good, that's the way I want it to be. He was like, I have to apologize to you because that's what I thought you were. I thought you were a dumb person. During her algebra, you showed me how smart you really are. And believe it or not, there are people out there that like people like you. I'm like, yeah, I know. But when some people see how smart you really are in the world, they like to take advantage of it. They take advantage of your smartness and try to make it their own, even though they can't, but they try. And I don't like people knowing how smart I am until they know me. But I'll tell you what, I was on the cusp of the new GED test at the time for the state of Ohio. You had to have a 50% or better, or you couldn't miss like five, you couldn't miss more than like five questions or something like that. I missed two.
Yeah, you also were going to be able to. They wanted you at the military to be a
Yeah,
nuclear engineer.
the military, you had to get into the military, you have to take the ASPAD test. Well, I took the ASPAD test, and they wanted me to be a nuclear engineer.
Yep.
No, I did not. I do not want to be. No, it's not happening. I didn't want, at the time, what I thought were going to be my kids glowing in the dark. But there is that. Um, all I wanted to be ever was a lowly old mechanic. That's all I ever wanted, was to be a mechanic. Don't get me wrong. You have to be smart to be a mechanic. Absolutely. But everybody with their liberal arts degree and their master's degree in A, B, C, D, whatever, look down upon the blue collar worker, thinking, oh, it must suck to be you. Like, why? I do a job I love. What do you do? And it's never bothered me with that, because that's all I've ever wanted to be. But there's people out there that, are you getting an echo?
No.
It's just me then.
I mean, I think that you look at people like Josh and look at people like Christina and some other people that, in school where they're not challenged enough. They're not taught the way that they need to be taught to be able to shine. And I just think we've got to do better to be able to teach these kids today the way that their brain works best, not just lump them all together and say, well, this is what everybody does. And I think he did so much better when he worked with his hands to understand things versus trying to read out of a book. If you
Not to
showed
sound
him,
not to sound condescending in any way, shape, or form, and I'm not saying it's the right way to do anything. High school didn't challenge me enough, and I slept through every class.
but you got an A because you knew the stuff. You just
No,
didn't.
no, I
Oh,
failed, but on my final exams, because it was only 20% of the grade, my A still totaled out to be an F.
yeah.
And it pissed them all off, because they knew I knew what I'm doing by looking at my final exam, but they couldn't understand why I wasn't doing the other stuff in between. I'd just sleep through class and not know anything about anything. Pissed everybody off because I didn't interrupt class with snores. Yeah, I was that kid.
We have to do better, and to be able to get to some of these kids that learn better. There's just I just think if you had been challenged enough, if you had been maybe taught differently in the way you would be better off taught.
I went to a college prep high school. Yes, they have classes for people who aren't going to college, but every class that they pushed was college preparatory classes. I knew when I signed up at that school, I'm not going to college. I'm not a college person.
Yep.
I don't
Yeah.
like school. I work with my hands, I know what I do, and I do it well. And that pissed a lot of people off, because I didn't want to go to college.
Not everybody's meant for college either. Your daughter, I knew. I said there are many teachers who said, "Oh, she'll be fine in college." I said, "No, she's not." Not that she's not intelligent, she was, but she just putting her through 4 years of college would have been torture for her. Put her
My
in a
daughter,
horse barn, taking care of horses, and you have made that kid a very happy individual.
my
So we're
daughter
gonna
is not a book person.
no, she'll be happy in a
She
stall.
can read the books.
Yeah,
She can understand what's going on in the books.
yeah,
Her imagination is
runs wild.
a wonderful thing, but a dry history book in college ain't happening.
Yeah. She'd be better. She'd be happier in a bar taking care of the horses, learning how to do it by hand. But we're going to take a moment and let Scott sing Mr. Blessed2Crochet happy birthday. And if there's any other birthdays in the chat,
Special.
then we'll sing. Well, this goes to them too as well.
This is my birthday wish for you. That you would never be blue, and may you have a rainbow for every single day, and may every road bring happiness along your way. May love be yours to have and hold, and may you never grow old. May every single dream you dream come true. And that's my birthday wish for you. And that's my birthday wish for you.
So there you go. Happy birthday. Did all
Thank
your
you.
wishes come true?
Well, let's see here.
I'm afraid to ask.
I'm somehow I'm still alive. I'm like that bad Timex watch that just won't stop ticking.
Good. I'm glad. I want you around for a long time.
I'm not the Energizer Bunny by any stretch of the means.
We're going to have some smart grandbabies I'm going to need help with.
Oh, yeah. They're going to be wicked smart.
We'll be sitting on those rocking chairs one day.
Yeah, I'm going to have to keep the computer away from them because they might be putting rocket boosters on it.
It's funny because I can actually see that.
And it scares me. So the last thing I need to do right now is wreck in a scooter.
Yes. Is Mocha still sitting with you?
No, she's not.
Oh, okay. She was cuddling up. It's snowing. I don't know if it's still snowing, but
I started talking and then she looked at me like, "You too," and then hopped off my lap and walked away.
Oh goodness. All right, well, we're going to take a moment because I want to end this pretty soon. We're going to take a moment, just so people know, and I want everybody to understand this. We're just glad you're here. We're thankful you're here. We appreciate the support being here. We know not everybody can be a channel member, and we understand that. But we do feel like it is important within a live to acknowledge those that are able to do so. We never want anybody to feel bad that they cannot in any way, shape, or form. It's all about the connection. It's all about you coming here for the support. But the people that are able to be channel members, they do help, able to support the channel a little bit. And we're very grateful and we're appreciative. But again, it is never expected. It is always appreciated, but we feel it just taking that moment to thank them and making extra content possible is something that we feel is important, but we don't want to ever make it feel like it take away from any of you. We're just glad you're here. And I know Josh is very grateful for all of you that have given me the support and the connection and have me a place to put my talking voice in.
Thank God you all have given her a place to let her gift of gab.
And I've got it. Well, we're going to take a moment and just thank our channel members.
Wait. Before you do that, I got a couple of questions. Crafty said that's called magnets. What do you mean by magnets? That's my first question. If you're still here,
I have no idea.
I have no idea either. That's why I'm asking her.
I will reach out to her. She doesn't. And what's the other question? When is dinner?
Yeah, that's a good question. When is that?
As soon as we get off of here.
Because, like, potato
I think he's
chips
hungry,
are good
guys.
and all,
I think I got to feed him. All right. Well, we're going to take a moment and just thank our channel members real quick. And it gives me the ability to see all this. I'm always excited to see all this.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And at the very end, it does say, thank you very much, because we're very thankful that you all are here, whether you're able to participate and being a channel member or not. You guys are awesome disco balls. Thank you for celebrating Josh's birthday. I'm going to go feed him. This is going to redirect you over to my other's keeper. So make sure you do tell her a room raid from Blessed to Crochet. If I have an opportunity to hop on there, we will get the devotion out in the next little bit after I put dinner together. He's got another question.
Not a question.
What?
I just want to say, nobody can be me.
No, you're enough. We just need one of you, honey. Just one.
One is too much.
No, one is just enough. Alrighty, y'all. Well, thank you for celebrating Josh's birthday with us. I'm so proud that he actually came on camera. Good job, honey. I'm so proud of you, and I love you dearly. So I'm going to go feed him, and we'll record that too and get you the recipe over for them. A great sausage, biscuits, and gravy, and them 7-Up biscuits. So anyway, have a great day, y'all. Remember, stay connected. It is so important. Remember, be proud of being yourself, because everyone else is taken. And remember, we got you covered. Thank you so much for having us covered. And I will go ahead and put my other's keeper in the thing so you can head on over there and give her a room raid for me. And we love you all. Good night, everybody. See you in a minute, honey. I'll go make the dinner. Bye-bye. Happy birthday.
So proud of being me.